Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. We say that gender is a social construct.
Right.
How you saw your mother doing it, and how you do it today.
Right.
How your son sees your husband doing it, and how he does it, and how he'll propagate the same. And I have a lot of focus to women and girls. I grew up in a family where my father and my mother, had a lot of wrangles. And today I look at it that those wrangles were actually coming because of the constrained livelihood options. So I started seeing the unfortunate situation men put sometimes women to. Yeah. And I told God, you've given this opportunity. I am living here to University of Nairobi.
Wow.
I was so specific.
Wow.
I wrote it on my palm. I told God, I am living here to University of Nairobi. I didn't even choose many universities. I am going to University of Nairobi.
University of Nairobi.
And I want to do a course that would help me address the social issues
Wow.
that increase vulnerabilities of women and children. I had qualified for law,
yes,
but because of the weight class that was introduced in our time,
right,
my grade weighed a little bit lower.
Yes.
And so I still remember wanting to do a course that would help me address the disparities,
right,
between that exist in the community.
Right.
And so I started talking to people now, and I was told about social work.
Yes.
And I remember I looked for a fourth year social work.
Right.
Because in Christian Union they were the CU leaders that time. So, and because I was still in the CU and I was a Christian, it was easy to access them.
Right.
So I looked for some and I talked to them. I want to do this. I want to do this social work. How is it? Would it help me? And they told me yes. This is the course. If that's what you want to become,
right,
this is the course.
Yes.
So I did Bachelor of Arts General in first year,
right,
and second year.
Right.
Second year I did application to social work.
Yes.
I was done interview. I was asked to write a project to show what I want to do, why I want to do that course. I remember I wrote a project on issues of FGM and in Bere, and how girls are not able to continue to school, and how as a social worker I think I should be able to address those issues, yes, and all that. So I wrote a project. Wow. I presented before the professors, and yes, they said you're the right social work, wow, candidate, and I was picked. I was so happy that day. I slept like a baby.
Oh, I can imagine.
Finally,
yes,
I was going to do my dream course.
Yes.
And
things were aligning.
Yes, things were lining up. So I went to University of Nairobi, and now I went to the social work
class
department,
yes,
and I did well. I got second class honors, upper.
Yes.
Yeah, very small margin to first class.
Yes.
And
here I am with passion.
Yes, and here I am. So after that, of course, I came out now. Yeah. Remember, I'm looking for jobs.
Yes.
To address the issue.
Yes.
And so within that time, I got so many offers, including in the Faulu. That time they were recruiting a lot.
Yes.
To the loan officers, remember?
Right.
That time microfinance was so vibrant, and
right,
they were recruiting fresh from campus.
You're right.
And I remember many of my friends actually went to Faulu.
Yes.
And we were called, many of us.
Right.
I was called there, I was called here. And within the same time, I was called for an interview in Nakuru.
Yes.
I went for that interview. That is Philadelphia Women Crisis Center. That was my first employer, and Free Pentecostal Fellowships in Kenya.
Right.
It was a program that was starting to address gender-based violence,
right,
and addressing, providing an opportunity for survivors of gender-based violence, right, to recover and reintegrate back in community,
right,
from a very Christian point of view, because it was a Christian organization,
right,
from under Free Pentecostal Fellowships in Kenya. So it was sponsored by Danida through Danish Missions Council.
Right.
So when I went for this interview, I did the interview. I think I was interview number 3.
Yes.
And I could tell I had gotten the job.
Right.
So we went to salary, and they said, I will give you 8,400. And I told them, 8,400 is so little. I have a lot of responsibility. I am the first the first person to even get salary in our home. So there are so many people waiting on this salary.
Right.
Plus relocating to Nakuru, getting a room to stay and all that, that is too little money.
Right.
Please, I really love this job.
Right.
This particular one. if I happen to be the best and you're not willing to
Yes.
increase my salary,
Yes.
please don't give me a call because I'll feel very guilty because this is a job I've always wanted to
Yes.
to
You
ever
are
do.
connecting with a job,
Yes,
just the salary
the
part.
salary.
Yeah.
So I was like, please, if I'm the best and you can't improve, please
Don't call me.
because I'll feel
Right.
very bad
Yes.
that I refused this job.
Right.
So I left the next candidate and I went 10 minutes down the line as I was,
Getting
I picked
out.
Matatu
Yeah.
and I was now going to town.
Yes.
I got a call again. Anne, have you left? Yes, I'm in Matatu. Please, would you come back? Okay. So I shook at Matatu. I came out of the Matatu.
Yeah.
I came back to Philadelphia again.
Right.
And I found my two, the directors were Danish.
Yes.
And then there was the project manager
Right.
that time. So she was there and she's the one who called me and she told me, you know what, Anne, you're the best. And in fact, you're not finished the interview.
Right.
But the director said, we should not allow you go far away. Let's call you and negotiate. So
Right.
please come in again.
Right.
So after the interview after me,
Yes.
I got in again.
Right.
Before the others.
Before the
I
others.
got in.
Yes.
And they were like, you know, we loved you. You are the person we are looking for this job.
Your passion had
You are
thrown
connecting.
you into the
You are
ring.
connecting.
Yes.
Your life's experience, your aspiration, your life goals go together with this job.
Right.
You are the person we are looking for. So I asked them, would you be able to give me 15,000 as I had asked? They said, no, 15,000 is actually a job for two.
For two people.
You,
yes.
8,400, the other one 6,000.
Yes.
600.
Yes.
Then I asked them, can I join the two jobs?
You're willing to do two jobs?
Can I merge the two jobs?
Yes, because one was a different.
Yes, I was the project social worker.
Right.
Then there was a project, there was a field, someone who's supposed to do field,
Right.
mobilization in the
All
community and stuff like
right.
that.
Yes.
So I was getting in as a project social worker.
Right.
Basically to establish the shelter. That was the
Right.
assignment. There was no
Yes.
shelter.
Yes.
I was the staff number one.
Wow.
All right?
Yes.
I was the staff number one.
Yes. It's a
yes.
totally starting up.
So it was starting, yeah, because the first woman I interviewed, the first GBV survivor I talked to, we sat on a stone.
Wow.
The office was not there.
Yeah, it was not
there was nothing.
established,
It was
yes.
not established.
Yeah.
So they asked me, can you do two jobs? I told them, very well. I will
Wow.
beat all of them.
Yes.
As long as you give me the 6,600 and 8,400 and I get my 15,000, I will do the job. And that's how I got the job at Philadelphia.
There was a deal.
And there was a deal.
Wow. The power of passion.
Yeah, so I left there.
Yeah.
After that, I didn't pick any call for interview.
Yes.
I didn't call.
You were settled.
I was settled. I
Right.
had various interviews.
Right.
Call. I didn't want. I was
Right.
settled. This resonates with me.
Because it is what you are going to do that was driving you.
Yes, yes.
Not the other
Yes.
things.
So I went to Philadelphia, started the shelter and the full-fledged organization.
Right.
I worked there for close to 7 years. Still running up to date.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
And that's why now you started the,
and that's
the
how I
work
started
itself.
gender work.
Yes.
Gender work, looking at now here I was now interacting with the issues I talked about.
Right.
Women come, they have been cut here and there, they have been beaten here and there. We have I think the awakening call was one girl who came to the shelter, 13-year-old, who had been raped by his brother-in-law and she was pregnant.
Oh my goodness.
And she delivered there. She was young. She was, so that's the kind of work I was dealing with. So all through, so that's how I now started now to put my desire,
Yes.
remember my vision of
Yes.
dealing with vulnerable women
Right.
and girls in the society, and for me, what moves me is looking at that woman rising to the level of vulnerability and be able to, build their resilience so that they can be able to
Stand for
spring back
themselves.
to, and they can be able to reconstruct. For me, I am looking at how can they come out of that level
Yeah.
of vulnerability
Yes.
and they can reconstruct their lifestyle all over
Right.
again. They can reconstruct their livelihoods. They can reconstruct their lives, their emotional balance. They can come back again to form and they can make decision again.
Right.
Because this woman who comes has been battered, has been beaten, they have been denied the dignity, their esteem is down,
Right.
and they sometimes they're not able to think and plan.
They have no hope.
this center was to give them that opportunity to
Right.
sit down, and we gave them a shelter for 6 months
Right.
as they went through counseling and counseling and psychosocial support,
Right.
but also giving them life skills, things that they can do, mapping their skills. What is
Yes.
it that you can do with your hands?
Right.
You know, and of course trying now to reintegrate back to community, not necessarily
Right.
to the husband or to the spouse, but even to the level where they feel safe.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's how I joined the gender work
gender
again now.
work.
Yes, and then so all through I started working on gender-based violence
Yes.
as a main component that
Right.
affects the livelihoods of women, affects really intrudes on the femininity, you know, of a woman, you know, intrudes, you know, when someone takes their
away
hand
your
and
dignity,
slaps him,
yes.
takes away your dignity,
Yes.
you know, psychologically abuses you, physically or even economically.
Yeah.
You need to come out of that. So that's how I started my gender work.
Right.
And all through joined, I joined other national NGOs
Yes.
and international NGOs, you know, working on gender work to the level of gender technical advisory work,
Right.
and gender research, gender programming, and so I have a lot of passion with, this discourse that would help
Right.
elevate.
I like the way that your passion now has grown. It has developed to something more.
Yeah.
Now you're even now in policy
Yeah.
influence.
Yeah.
You're influencing the government policy on gender and empowering the woman, and the impact that your work has had on policy, government policy on gender. Maybe you can tell us more about it, and especially even your current involvement in SIFLA.
As I've shared my story,
Yes.
I discovered that I can do something beyond, because beyond employment,
Yes.
beyond, bringing check every other month.
Right.
And because I have discovered along the way, that we have solutions within us. And so having worked with women in the lowest cadre of our economic strata, then I realized that yes, they are vulnerable, but they just need someone, or they just need structures that can support them,
Right.
systems that can support them. And so I also discovered that when families or households are struggling, be it the household food poverty, be it the energy poverty, be it water, be it health and sanitation,
Right.
and women get affected too much, get affected,
Right.
especially because of the gender roles that we've been given in the society.
Yes.
We take the baggage of the care work. When someone is sick, who takes care of them?
It's
the
a
women.
woman. Yes.
Our children, who takes care of them? It's even us, when we are still professionals, we are still on top of our children.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Even after this interview, we'll have to call.
Yes.
If your child is at home, have they taken food? Are they? You're dabbling between both productive and reproductive roles, because
Right.
we have been given those roles in our society,
Right.
and we have taken them. But again, I move from that and ask, how is it affecting women?
Right.
How does this affect their upward mobility?
Yes. Yes.
And when I look at the lowest cadre of the economic strata, I got interested. I said, yes, some of us have gone to school, we have gotten jobs, we have
Yes.
paycheck, we are able to maneuver ourselves around. But we have these women who, the longest time they have known, all they do is probably kipanda, just selling vegetables on the roadside,
Right.
selling jugu on the roadside, washing clothes for people, doing the lowest job or the lowest income generating activity that anybody, the last person should look for.
Yes.
And so I started Center for Livelihood Advancement.
Center for Livelihood Advancement.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a non-for-profit.
Yes.
And basically, a Center for Livelihood, we call ourselves SIFLA.
Right.
We look at the women in informal economies. Women in informal economies.
Yes. The
These are
mama
the mama fuas, the mama bogas, the women in border.
Right.
Women in the rural agriculture.
Right.
The constraints they are facing, the gender constraints they are facing.
Right.
And so because I started this, I was, of course, you start where you are in Nairobi.
Right.
Because of my work, very former work in Mathare, Kibera, and other informal settlements in Nairobi.
Right.
I discovered that Mama Fua is the last job that a woman takes when they have nothing else to do.
Right.
When you have nothing else to do,
Yes.
you have no any form of income.
Yes.
The only opportunity that you can have is to go stand in someone's gate and wait
For them to come
for them and
out.
pick you,
Yes.
and give them some few clothes to wash and pay you, or wash their houses, or just do the household chores.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, remember again, I've been a domestic worker.
Right.
Yeah.
Your experience.
My experience,
Yes.
you know, and I saw
yes.
how vulnerable domestic workers are.
Yes.
How little you're paid.
Mm.
How you can easily be harassed even that space, because it's not your space.
You're right.
You're in someone's space.
Right.
You know, you can't control what happens in that space. You
Right.
can't control the food. You can't control even your safety. You're sleeping in someone's house. They can do
Right.
whatever they want at some point.
Right.
So again, because of my past work, yeah, I discovered that these Mama Fuas, they need support. They need someone needs to look at the issues that concerns them.
Right.
And of course, in Kenya, we have the national debate about the minimum pay wage.
Yes.
But you discover this. I mean, nobody cares about even how much they are paid.
You're right.
You know, they come to your house, and because you are your nanny, you love your nanny very much. You don't want her to wash the carpet.
You take it to the couch.
You take them, or you call Mama Fua.
Yes.
Because then they will wash.
All right.
You know, Mama Fua, most of the time, they end up doing the dirtiest of the domestic work.
All right. Oh,
That
I
you
get
don't want to give your favorable
Right.
domestic work. Rest she think that you're disrespecting her, or you're taking advantage of her. So if you have this good house girl, you want to keep her. But when you have a lot of work to be done in the house, you call an extra hand, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You have guests who wants the house mopped to the level that they have not been mopped. These are Mama Fuas come, they do that work.
Right.
You know, they wash your dirty linens. They wash under your beds. They make our homes clean.
Right.
But look at how much we pay them. Very, very little. And most of them are not even paid. Civil has done an assessment with support from Anti-Addiction Fund Africa. And we've actually established that the level of vulnerability of female domestic workers is huge.
Oh my goodness.
Look at COVID-19
Right.
and the effect of the same. You know, informal settlements were classified as the most, the breeding zone for COVID.
For COVID,
Because there's no social distance. Go to
Yeah.
Mathare, Kibera, there's no social distance.
Yeah,
I mean,
you can't have a
they
COVID.
live back to back, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And even the economy cannot allow them even to buy a sanitizer or mask. Yeah.
Right. That's
So
a priority.
as Mama Fua comes from Kibera,
Right.
going to Lavington,
Yes.
she has to walk all the way
Yes.
or use matatu. She has no mask, she has no sanitizer.
Right.
She's coming to work in our office, in our homes, and you're also going to offices and we bring coffee to them. We are the people who travel all over,
Yeah,
right?
You're right.
But we say that the ones who bring coffee
I
to
know.
us.
I can.
So
Yeah.
Sifla looked at this because during COVID now, we started getting calls from Mama Fuas.
Yes.
The ones that we had contacted as we were establishing our training center. Because we also have a
Right.
training school where we train them on skills, how to handle machines, how to handle, washing machine, how to, just the normal home care.
Yes.
So we train them on how to
All right.
to do work at home using the machines, because some of them have no exposure of the
All
same.
right. So
Yeah?
at least you have enhanced their capacity.
Yeah, you enhance their capacity. And
Right.
the fact that is that once they have skills, they're able to negotiate for a better pay. You know,
Right.
if they come to your house and change the landscape of your home,
Yes.
of course you'd want her tomorrow.
You're right.
And if she
You're
does
right.
good job, if you find that her organization skills, our communication skills,
Right.
our courtesy, the way she does her job, the way she welcomes your visitors, even the way she organizes your clothes.
Right.
If you go to your wardrobe today and find that all the white clothes are put together, all the yellow together, they are well folded.
Yes.
You'll be able to call her tomorrow.
You're right.
So for that reason, that's the purpose of the home care training.
Right.
So some of the Mama Fuas, when they contact, they started reaching out to us. We are not getting jobs now because, people are saying we are the ones bringing COVID.
Right.
And so I said, what can I do? And I said, why can't I start an initiative that actually raise the vulnerability of these women? You know, and I started speaking about female domestic workers, particularly the Mamafua class, because they are unique in a way. You know, the domestic work in your home will eat and sleep there. This one will have to commit from wherever, come and work and go back. Because they have responsibility of their children.
You're right.
And so they started talking about they were either not being paid, there was too much work for very little pay.
Right.
They needed to scale up their work because remember, because COVID was all about hygiene.
Yes.
So they was supposed to scrub almost every wall in the house, you know, to chase the virus out. You remember they were scared when virus started, you almost sanitizing everywhere.
Right.
And of course, that's the work of these women.
Right.
And so I said, who is speaking about these women? And I said, no way, we are going to start speaking about these women. And so I went down Nairobi, profiled them, where they live. I have a network of 800 of them.
Wow.
And starting from the last group, actually, it's at Membli, the Nairobi Metropolitan. The last group on Mombasa Road is Syokimau Mlolongo.
Right.
The last group is in Rongai, and we have other groups now in the informal settlements around here. And we started reaching them with the messages of information on how they need to be safe and secure as they look for their livelihoods.
Right.
Providing them with sanitizer and soaps and masks so they can be able to access that employability, you know, and giving them skills on how to navigate through abusive environments.
Yes.
Remember, I have background of gender-based violence, so I know how abusers, you know, the tricks they use.
Right.
You know, they tell you, oh, tomorrow I will leave, but you come and clean. Then when you have just gotten in the house, they come back.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and then they tell you, now go and clean my bedroom so that I leave. So when they get to the bedroom, they follow you there. Yeah, and they tell you, if you want to be paid, you have to do this.
Right.
Yeah, and remember, I had the same experience in the flower farm. You remember? So that resonated so much with what I've gone through. You know, trying to learn to earn livelihoods.
Yes.
Yet it's so difficult to navigate through those barriers that they're encountering. And so we came up with that program, basically to help them, one, access skill, have skills to be able to do their work well.
Right.
So that when you get that job, you ensure you retain it, right? And because you do it well, you claim for better payment.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Second thing we are trying to do is to ensure that the unpaid care work get recognized in this country.
Right.
So my desire is to join with other policymakers to look at the unpaid care work, the role of women in economy.
Yes.
You know, I ask you, for you to be here to have interview with me, there's a nanny in the house.
There is someone taking care of my other business.
For that CEO in that company, C, X, and Y, there was a nanny in the house taking care of the children. Meaning that when you see in the stock market, that's my philosophy. When you see a company in the stock market going like this, you know, it's going up. When you see a company reading the profit for the year, you know, the audited and unaudited.
Look at the Mamafua.
Look at the Mamafua.
Yes.
Look at that domestic worker who actually stayed in that home,
so that
made you comfortable to deliver that work.
Right. Oh, that's profound.
I mean, if until that is looked at, we are not speaking.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So that is what moves me.
That forms part of your vision.
Yes.
Part of what you're doing currently.
Yes.
And your influence.
And my influence. I would want to see a nation where, when we are talking about companies, corporates that are making huge impact in this nation, be it the communication, the transport, wherever, we are looking at where is the lowest.
The lowest cadre.
Of that, you know.
Yes.
What is trickling down to them? What's the benefit they're getting?
Yes.
You know? And how are they getting recognized?
Right.
And how are the policies being developed so that they can be able to respond? You see, for example, when you say bare minimum wage, basic minimum wage, so that we say that you can never have a domestic worker if you're not paying her that amount of money. That's what you're talking about.
Wow.
You know, that's appreciating the care work these women have to do. Yeah, so that we stop looking at them at just, you know, wamama wa nyumba, you know, let's look at them as very important component of this economy. They are driver, actually. Do you know they drive this economy? Do you know how many domestic workers are in every other home? Yes, for you to be able to go to that Safaricom home, to go to that company, to go to that other company. You came because there was somebody left to take care of your baggage, including cleaning your home, taking care of your children, managing your menu, managing your pets, managing your compound, your security at home.
You're right.
Those people, they are the movers in this nation.
Wow.
And so that's what CIVLA is trying to do.
Wow.
To bring the voice of domestic workers, female
yeah.
domestic workers,
Right.
at the fore, so they can inform, their vulnerability can inform policy.
Right.
Their constraint can inform policy.
Yes.
Their experiences can inform
Can
policy.
inform policy.
So that policies on labor can be inclusive enough
Yes.
to address such kind of constraints.
Wow.
So that's what I want to live. Right.
I love that part of enhancing capacity, because there is also maybe a viewer out there who has some domestic workers and maybe they would want to enhance capacity. Do you take in also?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right?
Actually, if you have a domestic worker, you are either hiring a domestic worker,
Right.
or you can hire and bring for training.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
You can ask if you have that have already been trained, they're not hired.
Yes.
You can hire them, right?
Right.
You can bring your existing domestic worker
For training.
for training.
Nice.
Right?
Right.
We can enhance skills.
Right.
For example, you've hired a nanny or a domestic worker,
Yes.
but you want them to focus on a specific issue.
Yes.
Probably your need right now is housekeeping. You
Right.
don't have a young child,
Yes.
but you need your house to look like a 5-star, you know.
Right,
I mean,
right.
the way the beds are being spread,
Yes.
and you have the capacity to buy those things.
Right.
But no one is there to organize your home.
Right.
You know, you can bring them for specifically housekeeping.
Okay.
You need to improve cooking in your home, and you want menu to flow, and food,
Right.
meal plans to flow in your home,
Right.
and predict what you're eating, and juggle around the food options that you have.
Right.
We have a cookery class.
Wow.
Right? You want your clothes to be done well. I mean, so that your suit looks nice.
Right.
We have laundry class.
Right.
You need your baby taken care of so well, so that when you're coming home,
Yes.
you're just loving. We have the child care.
Yes.
And we also have our infirm, persons with disability, our elderly parents we're taking care of, and some of us are even struggling. You know, in our age now,
Right.
our parents are at 80s and
Yes,
70s,
yes.
and now they're in
Old
that
age.
stage where
Yeah.
they need a lot of care.
Yes.
Some of them are struggling with dementia, others with incontinence of bowel
Right. Movement. Yes.
movement, and other, they need to be managed lifestyle issues,
Yes.
health issues.
Yes.
We have home nursing.
All right.
Right? So, and beyond that, we do life skills.
Right.
Life skills is what changes
The mindset.
the mindset.
To everything else.
Yeah, so they can appreciate this is a job,
Yeah.
like any other job.
Right.
This home is my office.
Yeah.
Let me treat my employer. This child is my customer.
Right.
That mindset,
Right.
change of mindset about domestic work.
Yes.
So we do the life skill, because we understand that they also have their baggage they're dealing
Yes.
with. Majority of them are come from the lowest of the country, as well, as I said. So
Yes.
they need also to process them,
Yes.
but also they need to appreciate that this is a job,
Yeah.
and it is paying like any other kind of
And they
job.
can take it seriously.
Teaching them about budgeting, communication skills, work ethics,
Yes.
etiquette at work, and all that. And we even introduce them to saving options, so whatever the little money they're earning, they can also
be able
save.
to be
Yeah. So my desire
better.
is
Yes.
that the mama fuas I come across,
Right.
and domestic workers I come, a few of them, or as many as I will,
Right.
I will be able to transform them.
Yes.
I mean, they should be able to be transformed
Yes.
from that unpredictable,
Vulnerable
situation of livelihoods,
Yes.
where they can have a sustainable livelihood option.
Right.
So my desire is also to transition them. All right. So you cannot be mama fua forever.
Right.
What else can you do?
Right.
So like now we have around 10 self-help groups of
Yes.
mama fuas.
Oh, you form them in self-help
Yes,
groups.
we form them in support group.
To have
Yes.
homemade solutions.
Homemade solutions.
For themselves.
Yes.
Within themselves.
Yes.
By
We
themselves.
ask them. You go to the waiting bay from 6. You are picked latest by 10. After 10, you're not likely to be picked. They wait a little bit up to midday. After that, if you're not being picked for washing, there's nothing else. You cannot be picked. So you
Right.
go home empty-handed. So the question is, what happens if the whole month you're not hired? Because that's what we discovered with COVID.
Right.
Majority of them were not hired for a whole month.
Yes.
And so their houses were closed. They experienced gender violence at home because their
Yes.
husbands now also are not making any money
Right.
from their construction site.
Yes.
So they would fight over money to buy omena, money to buy
Right.
charcoal,
Yes.
money to buy, household food is insecurity. They would
Yes.
just fight over that.
Right.
So what you have done with these women is that when you work safe, so they have a table banking.
Yes.
CIFLA has also supported them.
Right.
Of course, we got support from Angel Action Fund Africa
Right.
to formalize those groups.
Yeah.
So we have around now 10 of them are fully registered. They are already running. They are running their table banking. They are borrowing from that table bank, and they have started their own other income generating activities.
Yes.
Actually, like one of the cheerleader of one of the group around Kiredeshwa, she no longer washes.
What is she doing?
She has her kibanda is too busy.
Wow, that's amazing. She's able to employ
She is able to
herself.
go for samaki in
Yes.
Nyanza
Yes.
because she was able to get capital.
Yes.
Remember, she has been washing all through.
Oh my
But she
goodness.
didn't know
Yeah, she can do
these
something
300 shillings
more
per day
reliable.
can turn up to a business.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So we in the formalized group,
Right.
whatever you earn per week, bring on the table. Let 500. Someone borrows that 500.
Right.
Go and start your business. Then they save for another week. Someone else borrows that. That's the table banking
Right.
concept,
Alright.
and they return it with a profit
With
of
some interest.
50
Yes.
shillings. 500
Wow.
you return with 50 shillings. 1,000 you return with 100 shillings. If 10 people borrows 1,000, they have returned with another 1,000.
You're
So the
right.
money is growing,
You're
is
right.
multiplying. The other day they opened a bank with KCB because they can't keep their
They can't
money.
keep their money. It's too much
And
nowadays.
these
That's
are
kind of-
mama fuas
Wow.
that
That's
at
a
COVID
positive
level,
story.
COVID season,
Yes.
they were losing hope. They didn't have anything to do.
Right.
I was actually taking them food baskets.
Wow. Yeah.
Right now,
Yeah.
some of them are able to be self-reliant.
That is beautiful.
So that is what moves me.
Yeah.
Where I can see, when I find a woman in a vulnerable situation,
Yes.
my work as a gender expert is to look at the constraints
Yes.
that exist.
Yes.
Together we map the constraints that exist,
Right.
be it at the household level, those structural issues of gender.
Yeah.
Is it at the workspace? Is it at the the general public space?
Yes.
Is it the policy? Right?
You're right.
And that's what I'm saying. Like one of the things I was pushing during COVID, and even now still in COVID, but
Right.
when COVID was really hot, is that these mama fuas, I remember we even wrote, we wrote a petition
Right.
to the COVID response committee,
Right.
the national response committee for COVID, and telling them, you see, these mama fuas, they wake up early in the morning, they go to wash clothes to look for places to wash.
Yes.
By the time they come, the chief and whatever, they have mapped the vulnerable people.
Yes.
These mama fuas are not here.
They are not there.
They
yes.
have to be included.
Yes.
Yes, and
There is a platform to fight.
yes,
for
and
that.
they got majority of them got recruited in the cash transfer.
Oh, that
you
was
know.
good.
And so those are some of the things I'm looking at how to influence.
Yes. The
And,
policy and
policy
everything
and
else.
But
Wow.
besides that, I believe in building the agency of the woman,
Right.
the you,
Yes.
the person.
The
Because
person,
even
yes.
the structure we can develop,
Yes.
we can make policies. But it's until you, as a person,
Yes.
you decide, I am out of this problem.
Yes.
I am navigating out of this situation. The constraints are there, but I am raising above them. Like I did. I would have decided to get married
Yes.
at class 6. I don't know how old I would
But you
be.
chose not.
I mean, there was everyone was like, you get married.
Yes.
Let your father get money to educate the others. So it's about you
As a person.
as a person. The
Yeah.
environment is harsh. I can tell you for sure, the gender constraints against women, they are there, and they may remain for some while.
Right.
The question is, even as we deal with elevating the same, how are we building our agency
Right.
as women?
As women, yes.
How are we willing to remain not in self-blame? I was battered, so I should remain in battered situation. I tell women, you've been battered,
Rise
Rise
against
up.
against the odds.
rise up.
Yes.
He battered you because you asked for food. Wake up and do something.
Get the money yourself.
Get the money yourself.
Buy the food yourself.
Put the money in the pocket.
Yes.
Buy
yes.
the food.
Yes.
Because there was one classical example I
Yes.
got, and I'll share this. In Nakuru,
Yes.
there's a woman who came to that shelter I said I ran in Nakuru. And she was being beaten every day by the husband. So she could count 30 beatings.
Wow.
The husband was a watchman. So every day, the woman just stay at the doorstep, you know, waiting for the husband. So they would fight daily. So one time she came to one of the support group, and we had started these the plastic paper bags making.
Yes.
I don't know whether you've seen them in the some Maasai shops.
Right.
Actually, that started in Nakuru.
All right.
With that program, and we
Right.
came trained some women in Kibera
Yes.
and others in Uruma,
Yes.
and that's how the recycling of the paper started.
Right.
If you have seen those baskets with the
I've seen them.
with the sparkling papers,
Yes.
So we trained that woman in their group, because she was, every time she came to the support group, oh, I was beaten. Oh, I was beaten. So why were you beaten? You know, I had washed clothes, then I had some money for ugali, but I didn't have money for omena. So when I asked Papa Fulani money for omena, he called me useless and beat me. So, so we discovered this man is actually using the vulnerability and household food poverty as a reason to batter this woman.
Right.
So we decided we are
the
going to
need.
empower these
Yes.
women to the level that they can put that food on the table.
Yes.
And they started making those baskets.
Right.
One time, she had made around 6 of them. Some well-wishers passed through our center, and they
Right.
bought hers, among
Wow.
others. I think
Yes.
that day we sold like 50 baskets,
Yes.
and 6 of hers were bought.
Wow.
Each of the baskets was 500 shillings.
Wow.
So how much money did
had
she
made
have?
her
She had
63K.
3,000.
Yes.
That day, we called her. When she came to the next support group, we gave her the money. And she gave her saving, because now the rule was when you sell, you have to save
Yes.
so that you can borrow tomorrow.
Right.
So we gave her 2,500. She went through the market. She bought a gunia of maize. She went to Ronda market and bought gorogoro of omena.
Yes.
She went and bought charcoal. She went and bought every other thing else. She stocked in the house. When the husband came,
There was
there was a
nothing
lot
to
of food. There was nothing to fight.
There was
And for the
nothing to
first day,
fight
they
for.
did fight.
Wow.
So the husband was always laughing. Your work is only collecting papers.
Yes.
Just sitting on the door. But because she had sold these baskets, the husband asked, where did you get the money? So actually that was likely to be a source of conflict. Where did you
Right.
get all this money to
Right.
buy all this food?
Yes.
Maybe he thought this woman got another man.
Right.
But she told him, you always ask me why I've brought all the paper bags in the house from the dump site.
Right.
Yeah? So the baskets I've been making here at night when I'm seated here are the ones that I sold. We took them to Philadelphia and they were bought. So I got money and I bought food. I decided here, because you don't have food, let me just buy food, even if you don't buy something else.
Yes.
The husband joined her.
They started making the basket.
Yes, they started making the basket.
Yeah.
And that was the end of
The violence
violence
and the
in home.
Yeah.
What did that teach me? Some women remain in violence environment because of that level of vulnerability.
Right.
That they have nothing they can put on the table.
Yes.
And that's why livelihood advancement is the strategy.
Right.
You know, it's a
Yes.
strategy.
It's a strategy.
How can you make that woman who is being beaten daily
Yes.
because of either as they try to put food on the table,
Yes.
or as they ask for the same,
Right.
you know, at work they're being violated, at home they're being violated, just because they want to put food on the
Yes.
table.
On the table.
How can we make their livelihoods options secure? And how can we ensure that they are safely accessed?
Yes.
How can we make sure that they can be able to navigate through that,
Right.
so that they don't have to remain,
At
you know,
the
that
same
at the same position.
Wow.
So that's why my design of work is, I look at these women, I look at the livelihoods and how they are drivers, the constraints to access livelihoods as main drivers of violence.
I see.
Okay.
I get
Of course,
you.
we have the socialization. You know,
Yes.
where our men have been socialized that, you know, you have to beat a woman for. So I tell men, you don't have to beat a woman. I mean,
Yes.
you don't have to beat a woman. If you can't give her food, just leave her. Let her navigate through.
Right.
Let her get options to bring food on the table and respect that. You know, let them
Yes.
do it in dignity.
And
Let them
yes.
work in dignity. Then
Right.
bring food in dignity.
Right.
Whatever is it they're doing, are they working on domestic workers? Let them do it in dignity. Let them feel honored and respected in that home. Let them be paid. Let them be protected from sexual exploitation and abuse.
Yes.
Let them be secure from the policies that are exploitative and that propagates violence of the same. You know, let the county government, like for example, county government of Nairobi, and the you know, I'm looking at how they would even look at the strategic ways of ensuring that even these women, where they go to look for these jobs, they have shelters.
They are safe.
You know, yeah, we have borders with the
Right.
shelters all over.
Yes.
Why can't Mama Fuas have
All
shelter?
right, a
Yeah.
place where the shed where they can
Yeah,
waiting bay.
yeah, where because they sit there for 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours as they wait for
get
someone to
you.
pick.
Wow.
Some of them have their menses, they need to change.
Yes.
They need to go to the toilet. I mean, let them feel they are in a normal job space. You know, they are in a normal job seeking space.
Right.
Where they
A
are
beautiful
safe and
working
secure.
environment.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, so
Wow.
so I'm just speaking about the, you know, the unpaid care work and how
Yes.
it has been appreciated and how
Right.
policy transformation would just elevate this.
Wow, such a beautiful discussion, and I'm thinking so many things right now of how much we can do for that person we have maybe have neglected and they're vulnerable. And I like the fact that we have a solution. There's a solution for us. We don't have to wait for solutions from outside. Thank you, Anne, for bringing local solutions to our problems. And for those who would want to reach out to Anne, maybe you can tell us how we can be able to reach out to you beyond this session.
You can go to the website of Center for Livelihood Advancement. You can go there and see some of the things that you do and look at how you can also support just to ensure these Mama Fuas in Nairobi also, you know, get extended support. But when they also come to your house, please pay them well, yeah, and protect them. You can also reach me through 0720 825283. That's my line. You can also reach me through my email. The organization one is info@centerforlivelihood.org, but you can also reach me from my personal email, mbogwan@gmail.com. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anne. It's amazing. You will not miss to find her in all those places that she has asked us to find her in. And thank you so much for watching us. Until next time, see you.
Thank you. See you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Anne.
And thank you, Beatrice, for having me.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Yeah.
We appreciate. See you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.